Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on in, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen. This is a different view for us today. Huh?
Different setting. People listening don't care, but we're in a different room today.
We're in a different room.
Got upgrades going on. We can't say any more than that. I don't even know if we can or not. I'm just.
It's like, I don't think. Yeah, they're putting some.
We're getting some upgrades in the main studio.
We're putting
excited about
gear up in the studio.
Yes.
It's it's going to be nice. It's going to be. Yeah. I think this was all part of. These are all part of your new the new contract stuff that they've been working out. They're trying to
contract.
Trying to work. They're trying to keep us all happy by putting some new monitors up in the studio. And
this is about taking the show where it needs to go.
Hey, man,
and that's on camera.
Hey.
Are you ready?
Can you give me some makeup tips?
Yeah, I got them all.
Back in the day,
I got you covered.
Back in the day when I used to have to do those night wrap-ups, I used to have to throw on a lot of base. I used to have to throw on a lot of MAC foundation to take the shine off.
Look, you've done it.
It's not fun.
It's not easy to take the shine off. It takes a lot of work.
Not on this dome. Not on this freaking dome. No way, man. I've got, I look like a
lot of square footage up there.
Listen. And it's not getting any better. You know what I mean? I don't know if I just need to do the full. Should I just pull the trigger and just do the full dome shaving situation?
That's up to you.
The problem with that is there's more effort. I don't want to make more. I don't want to make more effort.
You're right. That is work. To keep it clean.
I'll tell you what.
That's a daily exercise.
So my whole thing is I get the little trimmer out, and all it is I'm a 1.5 across the entire face, man. Beard, head, everything.
That keeps it simple.
I get eyebrows. I just hit it all.
Just once a week, do the 1.5? Is that what you do?
It's like once every 2 weeks.
Oh, two weeks. That's easy. That's even better.
And it is kind of nice when the hair does fall, like when you're shaving, you're like, I'm still growing some hair.
Yeah.
Good for me.
It's good for the self-esteem.
But you know what? I'm going to have to start throwing some rouge on. Start really.
It's a new era.
Hamming it up for
sports talk radio coming your way.
Here's the tough thing, though. Are we gonna have to be? Is Lloyd gonna have a new dress code for us? Are we gonna be like? Are we gonna have to go full like JJ suit and tie?
I don't know if that matches sports talk radio.
Should we do it just to be different? That's our gimmick. I'll get a couple shiny suits.
I need the break, so I don't want that to be our gimmick.
You don't want that.
I don't want to do.
You wear a suit 10 hours a day, every day.
I'm already doing it half the week, so a big no for me on that. I want to be able to come in wearing sports gear and being myself for about 3 hours. So let's make sure it stays that way.
All right, so
no suits as we get these cameras rolling in the next couple weeks.
We're anticipating in the next few minutes here our weekly conversation with the coach of the Utah Hockey Club, Bear Tourigny. As we're waiting for that, of course, today is a phenomenal. The Friday before the Super Bowl is pretty magical for us to be able to chat about football. It's kind of a swan song every year. It's a difficult show for us to get through because there's that part of you that's going, we are not going to be talking about live football again for quite some time. This is why I'm still hanging on to spring football for college football teams. I'm like, just give me something.
They're going to take that soon too.
Just give me something, man. I got to be able to do this, man. So.
Good thing we've got hockey instead.
Right? I know. And even then, hockey and basketball are going to be taking a break here pretty soon.
That's right. Four Nations is coming, the All-Star break for the NBA.
Have to pull a PK.
What are we going to do?
Just sing for a few hours a day. No problem.
We're not going to do that to all of you listening. It's not going to happen on our show. Just a little bit.
Our program, as always, is brought to you by G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar for anybody who needs that quick, tasty, nutritious boost. So let's kick the show off with the cut here, and as we wait for the coach to join us, we'll get going on a bunch of other things here. So we've got a full show here for you. We were shorted yesterday. We only had the 1 hour show. We had so many things to talk about. So we'll jump in right now. Let's get going with the cut officially right now.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And, of course, this portion of the show brought to you by Trajan Wealth, TRAJAN Wealth.com for all your trusted local financial needs in retirement. 801-899-7600 for Trajan Wealth, TrajanWealth.com. Before we get into the hockey club here, JJ, if the Broncos are in the Super Bowl, does that mean the menu for you gets, like, intense? Or is there just a generic, like, do you have a specific Super Bowl food fest that you do? Because I got a plan for this weekend for our house. I got some stuff in the back pocket, and I'm going to run it past you. But I don't know if like when the Broncos in the Super Bowl, if the Jensen household has to host 1 million people and you got to wear orange and you got to pour Orange Crush sodas across the board for everybody. I don't know how it works at your house.
Well, I would like to know because I work Super Bowl Sundays.
Oh.
I'm on TV.
Yeah, but
I don't get to have the party with everybody at home. But I will say we have a party here, and having worked here while the Broncos have played in a Super Bowl twice, the calorie consumption goes way up when your team's involved in the Super Bowl. When you don't have a dog in the fight, you can relax a little bit more. But yeah, I like to go big on Super Bowl food.
I think one year for the TV portion of it, when Dave Noriega was hosting Cougar Sports Saturday with me, and of course Dave's a famous guy on KSL News Radio now. We can't even. We're supposed to avert our eyes, right? When we walk past him.
He took my number off of his phone.
You don't look at Dave Noriega.
I'm not allowed to call him or talk to him.
No, but 1 year
I have to go through his agent.
We went to Chicago that year for the Notre Dame, for like the Notre Dame game or something like that.
Yeah,
and I think that Giordano's, the pizza, the deep dish Chicago, and then that year I think he was like, hey. Because we had ordered it, and like you can get it par baked, and then you have it sent out. And I think one of the years you guys had it here is the Super Bowl party, the deep dish at Giordano's. Man, that's a great move. That's a creative move and not cheap.
No,
cheap
it's not.
Either.
Certainly appreciated that. But for the most part, what do you like at a Super Bowl party? You got to have a good queso. So my wife makes a mean jalapeno sausage queso.
Oh, does she do the bread? Does she do the Jimmy Dean in there?
Oh yeah,
I love the breakfast sausage dips.
So that's one of my favorites. Get some of those scoops. Get a lot of it in there. Get a big thing of sausage in the scoop.
Oh yeah,
with all that queso and the jalapeno and the rotel.
So we're gonna do the rotel. So we're gonna do something similar. Somebody's gonna bring a white queso for us.
White queso.
They're in charge of it. Okay?
That feels a little.
Because I'm doing the main thing, which is
that's for rich people.
Carne asada tacos. We're gonna do we're gonna get the black top going, and we're gonna get the.
I like that.
We're gonna get some real tacos, and I'm not talking about the tacos that, the ones that you grew up with in Wyoming at home is like the white flour tortillas with the diced tomatoes and the ground beef, and you're like, this is a taco.
The tortillas the tacos that white people eat. Yeah, is that what you're trying to say?
You know what?
You didn't want to go there, but that's what you're gonna say.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah, okay.
So I've learned my lesson. We're making the real stuff.
Mild, my favorite.
Mild.
I taste nothing, and I'm enjoying it.
What is this, Old El Paso? Wow.
Pasta Picante. La Victoria.
Well, I don't know La Victoria. I'm trying to think of
La Lame.
They're all good. It does say mild at the bottom. That's good. So I just wanted to make sure that it tasted like tomatoes.
Tasteless.
And that it only tasted like tomatoes on this thing. So we're gonna be doing the carne asada tacos. We're gonna be doing the queso, and then for the my wife was like, but she does like the pasta salad for her. She's like, I want the pasta salad over here. I'm like, it doesn't really go, but it works.
I can't do Super Bowl without some wings.
I
don't know what it is about the Super Bowl and chicken wings, but I gotta have wings when I'm watching the Super Bowl. So that's a must for me. So my queso and my wings, I'm good. If you want to barbecue, you want to go crazy, you want to throw a brisket together, maybe some tri-tip. I'm good with that, but I don't know if I'm going to do it because all I want to do is watch the game.
It's too much work. Like honestly,
it's not Thanksgiving. It's not Thanksgiving.
I know, but it's too much work.
You make a nice dessert. I'm cool with that too. But it's not Thanksgiving. I can't spend 12 hours making Super Bowl dinner.
So I made a couple sides already. All right, because they work well. I was testing a couple out.
Okay.
One of them is a Nutter Butter dip.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. It's a Cool Whip, peanut butter, cream cheese kind of mix.
Had me at Cool Whip.
But you crunch a bunch of Nutter Butters in there, and then you dip Nutter Butters in it. Phenomenal.
Oh my!
And then I make a firecracker Cheez-It. So you take regular Cheez-Its, you throw it in you get in a big bowl, some vegetable oil, Parmesan cheese, and 1,000,000 pepper flakes, and you just toss that thing together, bake in the oven till crispy. Got yourself some spicy.
I wonder if you could do something with those hot Cheetos.
Oh,
that's similar.
crunch them up a little bit. Maybe
you don't
get
even
a
have to throw the pepper on those.
No. Those are already I get it. So we'll have lots of food talk. I don't know what your traditional Super Bowl thing is.
I'm
Lots
lost
of wings.
in my thoughts.
I think the wings are. I think they like every year the number gets crazy. Like America consumes 17 billion wings this year, and you're like, that is an insane amount.
I'm certainly contributing to those stats.
As I said here, we're waiting for the hockey club to get back to us here with the coach, André Tourigny, going to join us his normal Friday deal. But they're on the road, and so obviously coordinating all those schedules is one thing. But let's talk a little bit about this hockey club, JJ, who has, if they're going to win games, they're going to make you sweat it out.
They're
going to make them dramatic.
One easy win. One.
And the other was like back in the earlier part of the season, there was like a 6-0 win at one point.
Yeah,
remember they beat Vegas?
Yeah.
Was it 6-1 or 6-0?
Those have been rare.
Like, yeah, they don't. That doesn't happen that often.
They have 9 overtime losses.
And they have
9.
But in the last 2, you have, of course, Dylan Guenther winning in overtime. He comes back right off an injury. Like the expectations from this kid, like settle down, everybody. But last night, to be able to get that assist from your goalie, Connor Ingram, who hasn't been between the pipes that often because of injuries and some of the and some performance issues on top of it, he gets an assist and 25 saves, and the hockey club goes to Columbus, and of course, a team that beat them here in Salt Lake last week, they end up getting them at their place, and a better team, by the way. Like that was one of those that was a little bit unexpected, and I loved it because Dylan Guenther's coming in, and there's absolutely a spark that he's bringing, as evidenced by the fact that he's gotten 2 game winners in overtime for the past 2 games for the hockey.
Do we have audio for that play? I would love to hear it again as we talk about it.
Yeah, our producer Alex is pulling it up right now, but I don't know
what an amazing play that was, because Guenther was amazing there, but as I remember it, I'm watching and I had one of those oh crap moments because the puck gets loose and there's 3 Columbus Blue Jackets heading the wrong direction, and only one Utah Hockey Club player is between them and Connor Ingram. And fortunately for Utah, the Blue Jackets player misses the pass, and the puck floats towards Connor. And for him to make that kind of a play, aggressively come up, not only go get the puck, but then to slap it off the boards like that and pass it perfectly to Guenther for the game winner it's the goal of the year so far for Utah Hockey Club, and they've had some good ones.
Yeah. Well, joining us right now, somebody who had a pretty good view of it. He is the head coach of the Utah Hockey Club. He is Coach André Tourigny. Bear, thanks for being with us. That's a couple of fun games in a row here for your guys. Dylan Guenther got right to work when he came back off the bench. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we told him. Welcome in the program, buddy. Welcome back. No, that's he's a really good player. So for sure he had an impact, and I think we play good. We said that for a while, and I know it can be frustrating sometimes when your team just arrives short or whatever, and it's frustrating for us as well. But at the same time, we're playing good hockey. We were happy about effort and a lot in our performance. And I think when you have the opportunity to have a guy like Gunner, that for sure sometimes can push the card across the line or move the needle just enough, because losing in overtime against Columbus, losing overtime against Pittsburgh, and those are all game where it's a one-shot game, and was the same on the road before. We were almost there, so I think that gave us a little push, and we see the result.
Yeah, 2 straight game-winning goals for Guenther. The one with 0.8 left was amazing, and then to top it off. But I have to ask you about Connor Ingram, because without his play there, doesn't happen. To aggressively go get that puck against a 3-man breakaway and then to slap it off the boards perfectly, is that something he practices, or was that instinct?
That's pure instinct. You won't see Iggy do a lot of those kind of adventurous outside of his net or whatever. He's more on the safe side most of the time, but I think it was a great IQ play and a key moment as well.
Coach, obviously getting 4 points in 2 games is exactly what the doctor ordered, and something that you guys needed from the standpoint of being close in so many of those games, and then finally being able to have those things pay off with the points. How much does it do for the mental state of your guys and for your coaching staff and for you to be able to go, okay, we got over the hump in a couple games that people may have not have thought that we would have pulled this thing off?
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think it's important for our player. It's important for everybody, because at some point okay, you look at the numbers, you see, okay, there's good thing, there's greatness here. Okay, we're almost there. We're getting there. We're playing good, but like you're in pro sports. People expect a result. People they have the right to have expectation, and you want to please those people. You want to please the fan. You want to please everybody. So I think surely having those results lately match with our performance, I think it's rewarding, and proud of the boys who stayed with it and keep fighting every day.
Lawson Krause was a healthy scratch against the Flyers, and then you put him back in the lineup against the Blue Jackets, and what a response from him to get a goal in that game. What does that say about him and the way he responded to all that this week?
It says it all. I think never doubt, nobody ever doubt the character and the person in Lawson Krause. I think unbelievable man, unbelievable player. I think everybody sometimes put a knee on the floor and needs a little reset and needs to look himself a little bit. And I think there's no better than that kind of answer from him.
Couple more left here before you guys get to the Four Nations break. What have you talked about with these guys? Obviously, they know what the ask is, which is to try to get as many points as you can. But how big of a deal is it to get these wins here to be able to kind of walk into these other games, which are really tough matchups here over the weekend before you guys get to the break?
I agree, but in reality, you want to make it. You need to peg point all the time during the season. Whatever there's some game against opponent where people may not think you have a chance, you need to find a way. You need to find a way to get points against those teams because, unfortunately, some night there's points you think you will have, but you won't because we often say that. The opponent has a say in the game as well. As much as you think all the time it's all about you as a team and it's all about how you play and everything. Yeah, but in reality, the opponent, they have a say. They have a say in the outcome of a game, of the tempo of the game, or whatever. So when you have an opportunity to get points in that league, you need to do so. So, we know the kind of challenges in front of us. We know they're a good opponent, but we know we're a good team too. We know we can beat anybody. So we'll have an opportunity to prove that on the next two games.
In a lot of the other professional sports we cover, matchups really matter. And you see that especially in a playoff series, where a team that you didn't think was going to win actually, it turns out to be in a better situation because they just match up better with that team. And I don't know if that's the case for Carolina, but you did get them 4-1 when they came to Utah. My question to you, though, is do matchups matter as much in the NHL, and how does that all work out?
Well, yes, it does, because there's different type of game. There's a different type of system or structure. There's some matchup or better fit for the type of team you are. I don't know enough the other sports to really compare both, but I will say yes, in hockey it does matter. I don't know if it matters as much as basketball or football, but it does matter a lot.
What does Carolina do so well that gets them to be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference this year, Coach? What is it that stands out about them?
So the pace they play, they're a hard forechecking team. They offensively, they're really, really playing with a lot of pace. They move the puck really quick, and they push the play north. They're one of the hardest working team, if not the hardest working team in the league. So credit to them. We look up to them when we talk about pace and how hard they work, and give them a lot of credit on that, for sure.
I think it'd be a dumb question to ask you if it's a good time for the Four Nations break. I mean, it's always a good time to get a break and get rested up. But I'm curious what you hope happens during the break, or what the team can accomplish during the break, especially for those that aren't playing in the Four Nations, to kind of take that time to get ready for the last stretch here in the season.
I think the first thing is a mental break. I think it's really important the guys have a mental break and get back with the head of the right place, because as much as you want to get ready for when it will restart, first and foremost, we need to be rested. We need to have our head at the right place because, okay, physically it's demanding, but mentally it's where the battle is. So I hope the guys will have a good time, good family time, see friends, and stay in shape. Just maintain. You don't have to get in shape. You need to just maintain your shape, make sure you're at the right place in your head. Yeah, enjoy and get ready for the last stretch, which will be the biggest battle.
Well, Coach, tomorrow obviously Carolina, and as you look at this one, and certainly this team, you guys have given us a lot of games where we think to ourselves, oh, that's a tough opponent, and then you guys come out and punch guys right in the mouth, and you guys don't back down, and so these next two before the break here with Carolina and Washington, two of the best teams in the East. Good luck, and we're going to be watching, and we're looking forward to talking to you again here as the team gets fired back up here before the rest of the season.
Thank you, guys. I'm looking forward to it.
All right,
there you go.
Thanks,
All
Coach.
right.
Good luck this weekend.
Coach Tourigny, there we go. Bear Tourigny. How awesome is it to be able to dip in every week and just to get that that insight? I mean, the reality is that
how many markets have the head coach of your NHL team
and your general manager
just hopping on weekly on the radio,
and your general manager coming on and, and telling you
this is not a shot against the NBA. It is what it is, but the NBA is not going to do that.
That's a shot at the NBA for me.
Well, I just say it's just
no, I get it.
It's just a different deal, and I hope people appreciate the opportunity you have to hear from Coach Tourigny every week. We hope to bring the right questions every week when we get them on that we think you, as the fan, want to hear from your head coach. And so, I like you say, I really appreciate it. Real quick before we get to Clayton in the warehouse, I want to mention the schedule real quick. Because this is huge. Because if they could find a way to at least split Carolina and Washington, here's what they have coming after the break. On the road at the Kings. That's a big game. Mm-hmm. That's a 2-point flip there with the playoff race. But then they've got 4 straight games at home. Vancouver, Chicago, Minnesota, New Jersey. All winnable games. And then their next 2 road games are Detroit and Chicago. They should win those. And then they come back home for Toronto and Anaheim. There's a stretch coming out of 4 Nations where they have a chance to win a lot of games, get healthy, get Dursey back in the lineup, get Cooley back in the lineup. There's a chance in that period of time to go and make a run, but if they fail in that area, then we know what this team really is. But
hey, what's that meme? Don't you dare give me hope, JJ.
I'm going to give you
dare.
hope because that stretch will make or break their season coming out of 4 Nations. And if they can pick up a couple points here in the next 2 days, that'll certainly help their cause.
Well, I'll tell you from this point last year, they right after the break is when they kind of went into right before the break is when they'd started that 14-game losing streak.
Yeah.
You just need to avoid. I mean, they're essentially in the same spot point-wise. They're a few points ahead this year than they were last year. Before they went into that 14-game losing streak, and look, just steal a bunch of those games. Just steal a bunch that you're not supposed to. They've done that.
They should win some of these. Is my point.
Yeah,
these aren't games. I mean, maybe you're stealing a game at home against New Jersey, but they've beat Minnesota twice this year.
Yeah,
they should win these games.
Yeah. We'll come right back. We've got more to go. It's a packed Friday here with you. We're going to come back and roll out some of these winners of the NFL offseason awards, some of the takeaways there, and how the NFL or how the AP got it wrong. Stay here, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
I heard that if it wasn't going to be Kendrick Lamar, it was going to be Michael McDonald at the halftime.
Why don't we have a Michael McDonald Super Bowl halftime show? Cruising into the weekend with some yacht rock. I like it.
Like if you get,
let's set sail.
If you just got a full yacht rock crew out there, and they came out there on a fake
like
boat
the
in
yacht
midfield.
rock all stars. You got Steely Dan up there.
Oh yeah, Hall and Oates.
Michael McDonald's on the keys.
Are Hall and Oates
Toto rolls out.
Are Hall and Oates both still with us? I don't know.
Don't you dare try to kill Hall and Oates.
They're not friends though right now, are
You're
they?
literally being a man-eater right now. Don't do it.
I just don't.
I don't think they get along.
I don't think
no.
they get along.
No.
It's like
There's got to be a documentary out there about it. Really sad.
That's the monkey paw part of it. It's like you're gonna be wealth beyond imagination, and the person you create it with, it's going to be a nasty, nasty divorce all the time.
Bands were made to be broken.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Hey, I've got some Super Bowl food stats here for you before we go. I've got these all day.
You had me at food. Let's go.
First, before we get to the let's get some business out of the way. You can go to the KSLSports.com page right now, the contest page, KSLSports.com/contest. You can win Jazz tickets all year long. You can win Utah Hockey Club tickets all year long. You can win concert tickets and more. And we're going to be giving away tickets to the Utah Sportsman's Vacation and RV Show. That's coming up next week at the Mountain America Expo Center there in Sandy. We're going to do our show from there, I think, next Friday, Thursday or Friday, one of those. We'll be out there. It's not just the RV show anymore, by the way. It's the Vacation and RV Show. So we're doubling down on
expanding it.
Yeah, we're doubling down on exciting stuff. So there you go. Let me see here. JJ. I've got this. Do you know? So we consume as Americans 11.2 million. We will consume 11.2 million pounds of potato chips.
Wow, say that again.
11.2 million pounds of potato chips. Pounds.
Not just 11.2 million chips.
Yeah, the bag is
pounds.
You got some Lay's. Like, let's see, you get the family size Lay's.
How much does a bag even weigh?
It's like 11 ounces. You know what I
mean?
mean?
They put like 5 chips in there anymore.
That's
it's
enough.
A bag of air.
That's enough to cover the entire state of Arizona in chips.
And Arizona's a large state.
It's a big.
That's insane.
Even if it were Rhode Island, we'd be like, that's a lot of chips.
That includes the Grand Canyon.
Okay, but let me give you, if we're going to do maps and foods, 1.45 billion chicken wings will be consumed this year. Billion? Not million. No. Billion. That's enough to stretch from CenturyLink Field in Seattle to Gillette Stadium in Massachusetts.
Oh, uniting the world.
No. I'm not done yet.
Bringing the nation together.
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
55 times.
Oh. You
can cross the country 55 times with the amount of wings that we eat.
With chicken bones.
That is... Hey, America, we've got a problem. Like, maybe this is our stare in the mirror moment, where you walk by the mirror and you go, what are we doing? Traversing the country 55 times with chicken wings.
Yeah. Eat your chicken. Hey, enjoy it on Sunday. And call slcfatloss.com on Monday.
That's just one Sunday.
That's insane.
Hey.
We love our wings.
This is a stat they won't tell you.
America.
Blank, yeah. 13 million pounds are going to be flushed in the U.S.
13 million pounds of stuff? You're going to leave it at that? You're not even going to... That's a lot of waste.
That's the equivalent of 13 million footballs. There you go.
My gosh.
We have a problem, America. You've got a problem. I'm just saying, my favorite stat on this was 37% of Super Bowl parties serve fruits and vegetables. And no one eats them, by the way.
Are you kidding me?
They're there.
I mean, you might dip a carrot stick in ranch.
Avocado is a fruit, right? Just to clear the
palate for more wings.
Isn't an avocado a fruit?
Yes.
Okay. There's
you
your
mash
fruit.
It up and
that's it, and that counts as your fruits and vegetables. It's got pico de gallo in the mix. So there you
that's
go.
the only nutritional thing. And of course it's high calorie and loaded with fat. Good fat.
No,
but
good
still.
fats. No, that's what you say too. It's good fats.
It's healthy. It is.
It's basically
but
like
it's
I'm
high
on
calorie.
A diet. Yep. All right. I'll have more of those going forward. I don't know if we can top those, but there you go.
You cannot.
JJ, the NFL awards are in the books, and you've got yourself the MVP award going to Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, winning your Offensive Rookie of the Year award, among many other things. So let's start off first with that MVP award. It's hard for you and I had this discussion before the show, because when you look at the numbers, Lamar Jackson was deserving maybe more this year than he was of the other two MVPs that he had won previously. And yet Josh Allen had a phenomenal year. Josh Allen had an all-pro year. Great. I still don't think it rose to the level of Lamar Jackson. And I'm not a Lamar Jackson lover. I'm not a Josh Allen lover. I don't hate any of those guys. I like both of those dudes. It's hard to argue with the numbers that Lamar Jackson put together. And I think that you saw probably an AP voter fatigue situation there. That's what it felt like to me, because he had as good of a year as he's ever had, and it was record-breaking, and it was phenomenal. And you know what? He lost in a close game to Josh Allen there in Buffalo. Obviously, the votes were all in at that point.
Lamar didn't drop the pass in the end zone.
Oh, I know. Listen. I'm telling you, I just think that this is a little bit of a shame because Lamar Jackson is having a Hall of Fame run right here, a Hall of Fame stretch, and look, great, spread the love around, I guess. Josh Allen is good enough to win an MVP, but I don't think he was as good as Lamar Jackson this year.
I'm going to read you some stats. You tell me which I'm not going to tell you which quarterback it was.
Okay.
You tell me if these stats are enough alone to vote for the MVP. Okay. 119.6 passer rating. Fourth best, not in the NFL this season, fourth best in NFL history. First quarterback ever to have 40-plus passing touchdowns and fewer than 5 interceptions.
Wow. The first one ever?
First ever.
And he's already won the MVP twice.
First ever.
Okay.
First quarterback ever to throw for 4,000-plus yards and rush for 900-plus yards.
Okay. Also him.
Steve Young didn't do it?
No.
Randall Cunningham didn't do it?
Michael Vick didn't do it?
Michael Vick didn't do it?
Right.
Name your other dual-threat quarterback in NFL history. They didn't accomplish what he did this year. I'm talking about Lamar Jackson.
It's crazy, man.
And look, Josh Allen had a good season, and I think he took a Buffalo team that a lot of people thought would fall off because they lost some key pieces. And I think the fact that Buffalo was really good created some momentum early in the season that got the Josh Allen bandwagon going. But Lamar quietly went out and did what he always does, but he did it even better this year. And I think you're exactly right. I think what we talked about before the show is the fact that this was not necessarily about Lamar Jackson. This is voter fatigue. Sometimes, I mean, was Michael Jordan ever not the best player in the game in a Bulls jersey in the years he played? No. But how many MVP awards did Michael win? Other guys won awards. Steve Nash won an MVP. Well, Michael, what didn't he? No, that was later. Charles Barkley won an MVP.
Yeah.
Karl Malone won one.
And you know what? They had phenomenal years those years. But I will say also,
we all knew who the best player was.
But
and who ended up winning the championship,
and
who
all
led the league in scoring,
right? And all of the finals
Michael
MVPs,
Jordan.
all the finals MVPs for every one of those seasons too. By the way, so
right.
Yeah, I get it. I'm fine. I mean, like, it's not like I'm going to argue and be like, Josh Allen actually had a terrible year. I just think Lamar Jackson just had an insane year. The coach of the year is Kevin O'Connell. Is actually,
I'm okay with that because I thought the Vikings were going to be bad.
Well, so did everybody else in the world. And by the way, these votes and everything are done before the playoffs are even fired off.
These are regular season awards.
Yeah, so I get it, and I think he deserved it. Comeback player of the year, Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Joe Burrow had obviously was injured last year and came back, and he was in the MVP conversation despite his team not being very good.
Yeah,
that's how good he was.
Middle of the road. Did they win 9 games or did they go 9-8?
They did get to 9-8.
Yeah.
Came up just short of the playoffs.
Saquon Barkley, Offensive Player of the Year, and frankly, he could have been in that conversation. He could have very well have been right there with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. I think in that conversation, but running backs don't get.
Yeah, but it's weird that. So how is the most valuable player?
Don't get it.
Who is? How is he not the Offensive Player of the Year?
It's like when you get the Heisman Trophy winner and the Maxwell winner and the Davey O'Brien winner are separate people, and you're like, okay, it should be the one. Should probably be the same guy.
Saquon Barkley was incredible. He almost broke the single season rushing record, but I don't know how that works.
Patrick Surtain, your guy, with the Broncos, Defensive Player of the Year. Awesome season for him. Yeah. Jaden Daniels, like I said, Rookie of the Year on the offensive side of the ball. Jared Verse for the Rams is your Defensive Rookie of the Year. Assistant of the Year, Ben Johnson, who, of course, is going to be taking over the reins at Chicago.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Jaden Daniels' Hail Mary was the Next Gen Stats Moment of the Year. The Walter Payton Man of the Year award is Eric Armstead for the Jaguars, the only award they'll win in the offseason. And then you've got the Pro Football Hall of Fame class. Tell me if you need to add or subtract any of these. I do think it was really freaking cool, though, when Sterling Sharp showed up at his brother's house and went down to the basement, and he's wearing the gold jacket, and Sterling's like, what's up? And he's like, welcome, brother. Like, that's a cool moment. And here's the thing is, Sterling Sharp's the older brother, right, of the two, and Sterling Sharp was a guy that I knew before, I mean, honestly, he was the guy that I watched at Green Bay, and he had his career cut short even by injuries, right?
By a neck injury.
And I think it's really cool because I don't know, Sterling Sharp and Shannon Sharp, they're obviously
first brothers to ever make it to the Hall.
It's really cool.
Yep.
But like Shannon Sharp, he's a loudmouth, like can get obnoxious and stuff like that, and like you can tell like in that moment, it's a sibling thing. It was just a special moment.
It was cool.
He's getting choked up, because he's hugging his older brother and giving him and he's telling him the news. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, Sterling Sharp and Shannon Sharp, first brother duo in the Hall of Fame. Eric Allen and Antonio Gates. There you go. No Eli Manning. No Steve Smith Sr.
Yeah.
No,
No Torrey Holt.
No Torrey Holt.
No Reggie Wayne.
No Reggie Wayne. I think that those guys are going to end up making it.
They all belong. I hate this. Like, why do we have to wait? Only 4 guys. It's the smallest class since Steve Young's class and Dan Marino's class in, 2005?
Yeah.
It's strange why there was only 4, but that's how the vote went.
All right.
All 4 are deserving.
Let's take a break. We'll come back when we do. We've got ourselves we're going to check in with Clayton Curl, of course, at the warehouse, and we've got a Would You Rather back and forth. So stay right here. More to go. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
Hey, by the way, every Wednesday across our entire station, we give away stuff. It's called our Win Ticket Wednesday. This next Wednesday, all day long, you tune in, you can win a pair of tickets to see Kevin Hart. That's right. In the Acting My Age tour coming to the Delta Center on April 18th. Listen to the KSL Sports Zone all day long. Next Wednesday, we're going to be giving away a pair of those tickets every show all day long. That's right, Kevin Hart, man. That'd be a fun show to go see. JJ, would you rather... By the way, the only other time that we eat more food as Americans on one singular day is Thanksgiving. Super Bowl Sunday and Thanksgiving are so Thanksgiving's number 1, Super Bowl's number 2. The average person during the game consumes 2,500 calories.
Oh my gosh,
that's a lot.
That's too much.
But you're doing your duty as you're trying to get there. You're trying to stretch those wings back and forth 55 times from Seattle to Massachusetts. So
doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, you're just out there hustling, man. That's all you're doing. That's all you can ask. So eliminate Thanksgiving one year or eliminate the Super Bowl from a food perspective.
No, you got to eliminate the Super Bowl. I mean,
you hate turkey, though. You hate turkey.
Well, I make alterations to my Thanksgiving menu.
Okay.
I am not married to turkey.
Me neither.
I like to have some beef options and some pork options. I like pumpkin pie. I like apple pie. You don't have pumpkin pie and apple pie on Super Bowl Sunday, do you?
No. Pumpkin pie is very mid.
We will fight to the death on that.
I mean, like, you're talking about the things you have to do to dress up that pig. The pumpkin itself.
Love pumpkin pie.
Oh, you get over it.
I'm on team pumpkin pie.
I'm going to go right now. Super Bowl food is better than Thanksgiving food. As a whole.
Name your Super Bowl food and compare it to the Thanksgiving food.
I'm just saying, like,
look, don't get me wrong. I love Super Bowl food. But it's like party food.
That's what I'm saying.
Bar food.
I like it. The thing is most
There's
Super
a reason
Bowls
you consume 2,500 calories on a Super Bowl Sunday because you're eating junk.
Oh, and
Name one thing you're eating on the Super Bowl Sunday, and don't get me wrong, no judgment here. Trust me, I've consumed 3,500 calories in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
99% of the food you're consuming on Super Bowl Sunday is junk.
Right? No, I get it. But I mean, pizza and wings is pretty hard to like. There's no Thanksgiving turkey that is better than that. That is better than pizza and wings.
Then why don't you have pizza and wings for Thanksgiving?
Well, I can't roll that out and
broke your brain.
Well, no, I'm just saying. But I'm not going to go out there and go, oh, I love Thanksgiving. Yeah, pizza and wings, I love it. And you're like, yeah, I mean.
Well, how can you say that Super Bowl food's better why don't you eat it on Thanksgiving then?
It is. I'm just, because somebody rolls out and goes, I got the turkey. I know how to brine it. You haven't had my fried turkey.
There's a lot of meat flexing on Thanksgiving. I will say that. A lot of people.
You're not allowed to say that term anymore.
All these dads across the country.
Lloyd just sent a text.
You haven't had a turkey until you've fried one. Let me show you.
You can't say meat flexing anymore.
I've been working on this turkey for 48 hours.
We'll come right back. We've got more to go. It's a packed Friday here with you. Stay here, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
You know what's coming.
Your daily deep dive into everything Utah Jazz.
It's time!
All season long and even in the off season. It's Jazz Daily with JJ and Alex on your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball. 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Happy Friday to you. Jamming in as many NBA games as we can before you get a break with this league. And, of course, always always exciting this time of year is the trade deadline. And when I say always, I mean this year was especially wild. Our program brought to you by G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. And, of course, your Doug Smith family of dealerships as well. Kia, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and now, of course, Mitsubishi in American Fork and Spanish Fork. And in Linden, it is the Doug Smith family of dealerships. Joining us on the program right now, Big T, Thurl Bailey, going to be on the call tonight, of course, as the Jazz are down in Phoenix taking on the Suns. They're at the Clippers tomorrow. And then they're on Monday, the possibility of a Luka Doncic sighting as a Laker on the floor possibly. That's what they're aiming for them. But got to get to the first things first here, Big T. In Phoenix, how did the trade deadline treat this crew? Obviously, when you're on the plane traveling with the team, it's a weird time of year. But really, it was just draft picks that we're talking about this year, and nobody had to not as many movements in terms of guys except for Drew Eubanks. Big T, thanks for being with us.
Hey, my pleasure. Good talking to you guys. I think as a player, it's always up to the 11th hour that you might either be a little bit nervous or, wonder if anything's going to happen. But, not a lot of movement on the Jazz side. But as you just mentioned a minute ago, just some blockbuster trades, especially the Luka Doncic AD trade. But yeah, I mean, the Jazz are still the same, blueprint. I had a great win the other night against the Warriors. I thought that was a kind of a culmination of some of the things you're looking for and planning for. Some of the young players, doing a great job. Keontae coming up clutch, which helps his progress. But yeah, onward we go, and we're here against another team who had some potential movement going on, but you never know what that locker room's like right now.
I think a lot of people thought the Jazz would move more players at the deadline, specifically some of their veterans like John Collins, Jordan Clarkson, maybe even a Colin Sexton. Were you surprised that they didn't move any of those guys, and what does it say about those guys and their future with the club?
Yeah, I don't know if I was surprised. I don't think I was really surprised. I think as much as I have been around Justin and as much as I have heard he and Danny talk, it has to be the right thing at the right time. Now, those players you just mentioned have really increased their value, which one isn't a bad thing for the Jazz, and it's definitely not bad for them. You've got valuable assets. And so, I think one of the things that is really showing is that this team, the way it is right now, these guys are still bought in. Will Hardy still has that trust in them, and they trust him to do what they have to do when they're here with this team. And, obviously the trade deadline's over, but, talks continue to happen. The off season is going to come. You never know what's going to happen then, but right now it's business as usual for this team.
Big T, you mentioned that Warriors game the other night and just how that thing ended. And, we were going back and watching just like what the timing was because they were down 11 with, I think, 3.5 minutes left. And that's usually spelt, not good news for the Jazz this season. But to be able to have that comeback the way that they did and to have those young guys be the ones that were leading it up and to have, and even JC hitting that three that was so clutch there toward the end. Some of your younger guys and your veterans coming together, but that last stretch of the block by Walker, the pass from Isaiah Collier to Keontae George, who hits the three, that to me, like I think people look at that and go, okay, now you might catch lightning in a bottle with these guys. If there's some version of being able to see a vision of the future with those three guys and other people obviously around them, that must have been really fun to be able to watch and say, hey, that's what they're trying to build here.
It was fun, but I think we've seen signs of it in other games. I thought the Indiana game was well fought. I thought that, as Coach Will Hardy says, there's such a thin line, right, between losing a game and potentially pulling it out. And Jazz got as close to it on the other side of it, I think, with Indiana. But to have a game like you had against the Warriors not too long after that and pull it together and rally, especially, from the three-point line against the greatest three-point shooter ever, who in those situations, what he's capable of, in Steph Curry. It was a great win to have at home, especially, right? And when you look at that arena and you look at the record for the Jazz and you say, wow, they're still packing the house. I mean, that says a lot. It says a lot about Jazz Nation and them understanding what the plan is and the blueprint and the patience they need to have. But that was certainly a game that I think gave you a glimpse of really what can be if this team stays the right course and ends up, in good situations moving forward.
Thurl, for a good chunk of the time that you played for the Jazz, you were good enough to be a starter. Probably should have been a starter, but you came off the bench because Frank and Jerry asked you to do that. And now we're watching Keyonte George take on a similar role. As somebody who's been through that situation himself, what stands out to you about the way Keyonte's handling this situation?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I think it should be known that I wasn't the first one asked to come off the bench. The others or other that was asked refused to do it. And it's understandable because, there's a thought about being one of the starting five that you're perceived as one of the best players on the team or one of the best five on the team. But to me, it just ended up being about the team. It was the best thing to put us in a position to be successful. And it wasn't necessarily an internal easy choice for me because I'm human as well. But I think what won the day was that, look, if I'm asked to play this role, and I know that it's not necessarily about starting, but it's about who's finishing. If I'm in the game, in a clutch game at the end, that's what I like to have. And so I knew I was going to get my minutes. I knew I was going to play an important role. I just had to embrace the role and go out and do my job. And honestly, I think it was tough for Keyonte. And so that first game, maybe the first game and a half or so, it takes the landscape's different. You're mentally different. You're preparing differently. And so I think now Keyonte, as you saw, has really embraced what's been asked of him. Now, that role may not be permanent for him, but he's embraced it. And, you look what happened. He gets that big shot against the Warriors. And I think that right there for him personally, I think says that, look, I love this game. I'm going to do what I'm asked to do to try to help this team to win. And that's really the mentality you have to have. And I think Keyonte's gotten that.
Now I'm dying to know who that player was that wouldn't come off the bench back in the 80s.
I'm sure you are.
Now you got me guessing, Big T.
Thurl Bailey, everybody. No, yeah. Leaving you on the edge of your seat every
That was
week.
a great nugget. Thanks.
I know. But you know what? I mean, I think that we just assume, like, hey, this professional locker room, they're pros, man. They're keeping it together all the time.
They're human beings.
I know. And then you watch across the league some of this stuff. I was just thinking about when you were talking about Coach Hardy and that decision to to sit down with Key and to be able to have that discussion. There's got to be a lot of trust there, and I feel like the players do trust Will Hardy. They know his basketball IQ. They know what he's trying to build.
I believe they do. I get to see it, right? I get to see it a lot traveling with these guys, and look, it's like family. If you told me I get along with every family member all the time, I know you'd be lying because it's not that way. It's not reality. And that's what this is. It's a group of people who are family to each other. And even if sometimes you disagree, you still have to trust that, one, Coach Will Hardy and the staff are doing the right things for the team and your career and your development. And so I get to see it in action here. I just love the way Will communicates in his own way and in their own way, because you can't treat everybody the same, obviously. You have to communicate with them differently. And I think that Will has just done a superb job from my vantage point of doing that.
I haven't got your thoughts on that Doncic trade. I think it shocked all of us. And it shocked the world. I mean, everybody didn't see that coming, and it was done very secretive. What was your reaction when you heard that, and what impact do you think that's going to have on the balance of power in the league?
Well, I think it was shocking in a sense, and then, as a player, former player, in another sense, it wasn't. And the first thing you ask yourself is why, and why would the team do this? There's probably maybe some internal things we don't know. But, I mean, you got two great players, one who just took their team to the finals, and now they're moving on to different teams. So there's probably a lot going on that we don't know, or maybe not a lot, but maybe there's some things, obviously, that we don't know that are a little deeper in that. But, I mean, both are great players. Both will be great on their respective teams. Who got the best of it? I think it remains to be seen. Anthony Davis has a record of not being totally healthy throughout the season, but he seems to have maybe kind of climbed out of that. He could definitely move Dallas to that next level as a rim protector. He wants to play a little more four, so you've got guys like, a guy like Gafford who could be that five. So they're going to be okay. The Lakers, you've got a plan, although LeBron James is playing well at 40 years old. Mm-hmm. Father Time's going to catch up, and you've got to think about the future of that team and what direction you're going to go in. So both teams won in a way, but long term, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
You got to see probably some reaction from the coaches and the players too. Was it as eyebrow raising for everybody else as it was for all of us too? Was everybody kind of in that state of shock watching how this thing happened? It's not their team, but at the same time, they watch this whole thing go on around them in the Western Conference. It's not hard to look around and go, wow, that is wild.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was, besides the trade, is that how secretly it was kept. Because, rumors start somewhere, right? And sometimes those rumors start with the truth, somebody knowing something. And especially in this business, and I thought it was just incredible how almost no one knew. And that is hard to do in this day and age with leaks and social media. It's just almost impossible, but they were able to do it. I think that may have been the part that, other than the two involved in the trade, the fact that nobody had any inkling. It wasn't even a rumor started that ended up being the truth. That was just blam, right? Yeah, it was just it in one day. And so that's amazing.
I got to ask you about Isaiah Collier before we let you go. Just continue to be impressed with him and what he's doing right now as he's developing. 20 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds against the Warriors. The Jazz don't have a lot of guys in their history that have been able to get triple-doubles. Is this a guy, Thurl, that's going to get a lot of those once he reaches his potential?
I think so. I mean, I've asked Coach Will Hardy about the difference between an Isaiah Collier when he first came to the Jazz to now. And he talks about how when he came in, he was an introvert, and that's how in his conversations and his practices and everything, he told him that in that position, in that point guard position, you cannot be an introvert, right? That's a instant leadership position. So I think Isaiah is really trying to live up to that and then understand who he is as a player, not try to overdo it, but continue to develop in things that maybe he's weak at, but use his strengths right now. He's doing that. I mean, I like the way he's just getting in the defensive players that aren't set and just kind of nudging them out of the way and getting to the basket, making decisions with that speed of his. So, yeah, his development is just, that's what you like. I mean, if you hate losing, but if there's something good that can come out of it, something that, looking forward, you can say, a guy like Isaiah Collier can be a great pro. There's some really good things going on. He's just been fun to watch. It's been fun to watch him be that pass-first guy, but be a tough rookie that's making a huge impact his first year.
T, I don't know if you saw this, but tickets on average right now for that Lakers Jazz game on Monday. The average ticket is $212 for that game because they're wanting to see what's going to happen if Luka ends up getting that start. So you guys are going to be setting this one up. The Suns tonight, and then you've got the Clippers tomorrow, and then a break on Sunday, and then Monday, that one in L.A. Versus the possible debut as a Laker, Luka Doncic. So fun few days for you guys here. Good luck on the calls, and thanks as always for coming on the program here with us, Big T.
Isn't this league something, man? That's entertainment right there. Thank you, guys.
You appreciate it. There's Big T, everybody. My goodness.
It never lacks for drama.
Did you try to look up to see who the player was who you think you may not have?
It depends on. He came off the bench for a nice span. I have my suspicions, and that guy may have been traded.
Okay,
but I don't want to. I think Big T wanted to keep that under wraps in the locker room, but
I like it.
So I won't go any further guessing or speculating.
Keep it in the locker room 40 years later.
I mean, you could probably guess based on some guys that were not fell out of favor with the organization back in the 80s.
I just am. Those little nuggets that we get from Big T are the best every week, man.
There's so much history there, and he's been a part of it that goes all the way back to the earliest days of the franchise, and so it's always great to hear a little nugget here and there that he throws out there from the good old days.
Hey, by the way, just to get tickets for the tickets to the Lakers and Jazz here, the cheapest ticket you can get because they come here next Wednesday.
Yeah, they'll be here Wednesday.
That ticket's $111 here at Delta Center.
You think Luka's going to play in that game? You think he plays 2 games in 3 days?
Oh, come on. Just at the very least, having him in the building, even on the bench, I think that's enough for people in a way, right?
We'll see if he comes. Now, you talk about the drama of the league. That gets people in. What gets people running away is the fact that, all of this and then Luka's not going to play.
Yeah.
That's what the league needs to address.
That's tough. Yep.
The regular season's got to matter more.
All right. We'll take a break here. We've got more to go right around the corner. When we do return, we've got tons to break down here still for you. You can nominate that youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. The way you do it is just go to KSLSports.com/contest. Listen every Thursday to JJ and Alex for the winner, and we'll celebrate those people who do an awesome job in your neighborhood with the Hercules Hero of the Week, brought to you by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. We'll come back. The 10 wildest trends you need to know about this Super Bowl. All of it rolled into one. So stay here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex with the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. Presented by G2G Bars. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ooh, that's smooth. Let that ride. What do we have here?
Now, speaking of Yacht Rock, you didn't know that was Kenny Loggins? Come on. It's the same guy.
This is not one of his most well-known songs.
But this is more what his vibe was. Like, Kenny Loggins was, because people think of Kenny Loggins as like the Top Gun, or no, Footloose, right? The Footloose song.
Name an 80s movie, and he wrote the song for it.
No, I know. He's in that pantheon of yacht rockers.
No doubt about it. Is that a Michael McDonald just threw in there?
Wow. This is good stuff.
Of course, he was with the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. And then he moved on to be Loggins and Messina, and then his solo career took off.
That's what it was, Loggins and Messina.
Was there some Michael McDonald in there?
I don't know if I think that people just did a lot of the same. What does he look like right now? He's gotten some work done, dude. He's gotten some work done.
He's well preserved at age 77. Looking good.
Yeah, but I think people think of Footloose, they think of Danger Zone, right?
Right. Remember Caddyshack?
Oh yeah. I'm All Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Name an 80s movie. His track's in there. Mm-hmm. He had a role in it. All
right. Boy, our producer Alex just defying defying his age, by the way.
He has no idea what we're talking about.
No. He's pulling these up, man. If people tuned in, they'd be like, I guess their producer is a 47-year-old woman who's still trying to get those 80s vibes going. Nope.
What was the title of that song, Alex?
That one's called "This Is It" by Kenny Loggins.
Yeah, that came out in 1979, and I was correct. That was Michael McDonald in there. So he and Michael McDonald collaborated on a few songs. Loggins co-wrote the song "What a Fool Believes."
Oh, yeah. Listen, these guys are all intertwined. Kenny Loggins looks like he'd be Benedict Cumberbatch's dad, right? Looks a little bit like
he does now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's trying to give some vibes here. He's trying to
give the Catwoman a run for her money.
He definitely has had some work done, dude. All right. I'm glad we got that out on a Super Bowl weekend. By the way, you want more stats? Because I don't think of burgers as being like the Super Bowl. Again, you can have burgers at your house. But, typically people aren't necessarily. But 14 million pounds of burgers we're going to consume this weekend. Pretty good.
Hot dogs? No?
Hot dogs I don't have on this list. But we do consume 88 million pounds of cheese. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
Nachos?
13 million pizzas. Oh, whatever the version is. It's a stuff. We were just talking about all the dips.
Well, we're not legally allowed to call Velveeta cheese, are we?
Yeah, yes, you are. Yes, absolutely you are.
Is there any cheese in Velveeta?
I think they call it a cheese product. You know when they call it like...
That's what I'm saying. I don't think legally they're allowed to do that.
I was actually disappointed the other day. I won't say the brand, but there was some ice cream in our house that doesn't technically count as ice cream.
What is it?
It's like a... It's a dairy dessert product. Like they couldn't even classify it as ice cream. And I was like, this is a national brand, by the way. It doesn't get to the level of being ice cream. It's a frozen dairy dessert product.
They call it a frozen dairy treat?
Frozen dairy dessert. It's what it says underneath.
Gosh. Yeah, Velveeta does contain milk and cheese culture, but it's not considered real cheese by the FDA.
Well, then
it's a processed cheese product.
So we're having 88 million pounds of cheese, but we're having 114 million pounds of Velveeta?
We're having we're actually eating a lot of emulsifiers, whey, and milk protein concentrate.
Hey, listen,
but hey, it tastes good on my chips.
That helped us win World War II, man. That's
100%.
how we got the.
It's one of the side benefits of going to space.
Hershey chocolate and Velveeta. It's like barely qualifies as chocolate and cheese, but you know,
walking a fine line.
There you go. Also, by the way, 4 million pounds of just pretzels.
Interesting choice.
Yeah. Would you ever think popcorn would be something you would?
Oh yeah, for sure.
8 million pounds of popcorn.
Yeah.
That's a lot of popcorn.
That makes sense.
We don't do the popcorn on a Super Bowl Sunday at our house.
You got to do it.
Well,
especially your flavored popcorns.
I know.
What's that, tahini? You're a big tahini guy.
I love
Put tahini on your buttery popcorn.
I'm not a sweet popcorn guy. I don't like when people are like,
put tahini on your popcorn.
I'm going to do it.
Maybe even a little bit of lime juice.
I'm going to do it. Well, that's how you get them to bind.
Tahini and lime. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let me see here. In this Super Bowl, JJ, 10 wild trends you need to know about. Okay? Number 9. The most ridiculous bet you can make in the Super Bowl is the heads and tails conversation, okay? In the last 58 Super Bowls, tails has come up 30 times. That's 52%. Tails has the edge right now in the series.
That's interesting. Because everyone thinks heads is going to win all the time, right? Everyone says go heads.
Really?
Like there's something like the head side of the coin is heavier, so it's more likely to end up being I don't even know how that works.
So Mahomes and Jalen Hurts are facing off against one another for the second time. It'll be they're going to join 3 other pair of quarterbacks that have faced off multiple times in the Super Bowl against one another. Terry Bradshaw and Roger Staubach, they met up. Troy Aikman and Jim Kelly, they met up a couple of times. Eli Manning and Tom Brady. We know how that went down.
Isn't that crazy?
We know how that went down.
Tom Brady lost 3 Super Bowls. 2 of them were to Eli Manning and the Giants. Make it make sense.
Oh, so there you go.
We were talking earlier. You had your theory that there's no way that Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is already. They already came close.
But that's what I'm saying is like when everybody goes.
It doesn't seem to matter.
Because I was listening to Jason Buck talking about I don't think the Eagles have the edge on. Or no, maybe he was saying in favor of the Chiefs, or the Chiefs didn't necessarily just have the edge, But people aren't giving Jalen Hurts much credit. And I'm like, this is a guy who already played in one of these Super Bowls. He's not afraid, and he kind of out-dueled Mahomes. He just didn't get the ball last, right? I mean, that's really what it was. So the team that has scored last has won 11 straight Super Bowls, 18 of the past 19. That makes sense. The only exception was the Baltimore Ravens taking a safety against the 49ers in Super Bowl 58.
Yeah, it shouldn't even count.
I mean,
it's the truth. If you give the ball last, you should win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Unless it's a blowout, obviously.
47, sorry. I couldn't read my Roman numerals very well.
Nobody can. I wish they'd stop doing it.
XLVII. Get over it. MVPs. The quarterback is usually the most important position in football, and that's why they usually win Super Bowl MVP. Quarterbacks have won 33 of the last 58 Super Bowl MVPs. So there you go. You would think if the Eagles were to get it done, Saquon Barkley would be a big part of that conversation because he's been a big part of every conversation in the postseason of every game they've played and really all season long with this team. Mahomes is the favorite. Saquon Barkley is right behind him. But you could as easily see if the Eagles win and Jalen Hurts is your MVP, don't be shocked, right? The Chiefs, the Gatorade that they prefer is purple as a team. They've had it at most of the Super Bowls they've played in. Being last to lose is bad. After you started 9-0, we talked about this. The Chiefs were the last team that were undefeated before they finally lost a game this year, and that actually does not work out for teams. They haven't won the Super Bowl since 2006.
Wow. That's an interesting
right?
stat.
It's a weird stat.
19
too.
years.
It's a weird stat. The last 20 Super Bowls, if you wear white, you're 16-4. Guess who's wearing white on Sunday?
Chiefs.
You saw him wearing them at the – come on, man. Past 3 Super Bowls have been decided by exactly 3 points. Lord help us. Please give us a close game on Sunday. Please give us a good game.
Hey, because I remember growing up in Super Bowl, there was a joke that Super Bowls are always going to be a blowout, and they were for quite a period of time. The 80s and 90s, outside of Scott Norwood kicking wide right or whatever it was, they mostly were just blowouts.
Yeah.
And it was strange because there were so many good teams in the league at the time. But nowadays, we've been accustomed to close Super Bowls, and we're kind of spoiled.
Thanks, Malcolm Butler. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Hey, by the way, the over-under in the Super Bowls are 28-1 all time. It is a push all time in the Super Bowl for the over-under. And then the favorites have not been covering in the last few Super Bowls. They're 1-3 over the last 4 Super Bowls, haven't covered the spread in all 4.
Interesting.
So there you go. Being the favorite doesn't matter. What's the actual line in the game? What's the over-under? I would think that this is going to be because in my mind, let me make a guess. I'm going to say that the Chiefs are 1.5 point favorites, and I'm going to say the over-under is I'm going to say it is 52.5.
Kansas City is a 1 point favorite, -1. The over-under is 48.5.
That's a little low for these two teams. Last time they met, what was it, 38-35?
Yeah.
I don't see necessarily. I mean, look, these are two teams who score, man. Let's go. All right, we'll take the break here. We'll come back. And when we do, we've got our I've got all sorts of fun things to talk about. But at the same time, I do have to talk about Ohio State making it official now with Ryan Day, their head coach, and what he's done to deserve the deal that he just got. So we'll come back. We'll give you some details on that and much more. By the way, when we return, we'll get to that, and we've got tons more still going on. We'll also get with the guys at the warehouse as well. So stay here, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. I just looked up some numbers here real quick. I'm going to share with you, JJ.
Okay.
So, by the way, every week, all the time, we're giving away a bunch of stuff on KSLSports.com. Just go to the contest page there at KSLSports.com. You can get jazz tickets, hockey tickets, concert tickets, and more. And then this week, we're going to be giving away tickets to the Utah Sportsman's Vacation and RV Show. That's coming up next week at the Mountain America Expo Center there in Sandy. You just enter at KSLSports.com/contest to win. And we're going to be out there, I think, on Thursday. So come join us out there. Get yourself a new RV. Get yourself a vacation plan. Let's go. JJ, Ryan Day, second highest paid coach in all of college football behind just Kirby Smart. He is Ryan Day. Maybe now he could afford to make that beard look a little bit more natural. Or you know what?
Just for Men is doing just fine.
If you're him, double down. Go whatever the next version of Jet Black is. Is there something else? What's that? That Vanta? They call it like Vanta Black, right? Isn't it like the darkest substance on earth? He needs to get his beard going with that.
It's also called the Carlos Boozer.
Yeah, it's painted on. Giuliani,
Ronco.
Boozer, Ronco spray on hair.
Yeah.
The GLH. Remember those? I would watch full Ronco commercials on this is how bad entertainment was on Sunday mornings when you're like a kid. You're like, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to watch this Ron Popeil half-hour special.
How many nights late at night when you're in college why were you up eating Taco Bell watching Ronco ads?
Why not? Great-looking hair, GLH. All right?
Well, with $12.5 million in total annual compensation,
no problem.
He can figure that out.
He did. He got himself a nice raise, and he deserves it. I mean, I don't care if he loses.
But he didn't beat Michigan, Alex.
I know. Get over it. You know what? And Michigan fans, they can laugh all their way to the bank, but if Ryan Day wins national championships every 3 or 4 years, I mean, Michigan, the last time they won a natty was when? 1997, before last year? So they were at
Urban won one, didn't he? They won the first.
No. I'm saying Michigan.
Oh, Michigan.
Michigan hadn't won a natty since 97.
Yeah. Correct.
Ohio State has won national championships.
Yes.
Probably, I don't know, since that same time between 97 and right now, they've probably won 4. Maybe that's too many, but they've at least been in every college football playoff, it seems like. They're just right there. So
yeah, they've won in 2002, 2014, 2024.
Yeah,
Before that, you have to go all the way back to 1970.
But again, and then all those other years, they were right there in that conversation. They've been in a lot of these games. So
been to the playoffs many times.
I did want to. I'll have to save it. But yeah, I'll bring it up next hour. It's just the rookie pay scale this year in the 2025 draft. Shedeur Sanders had made some comments about where he thinks he should go in the draft, and I've got the numbers for you for this year's rookie pay scale on the draft and when they get drafted versus what that overall compensation is going to be on those rookie deals. So we'll get to that next hour. We'll come right back. We've got more to go. It's a packed Friday here with you. Stay here, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex. Presented by G2G Bars.
Don't touch that dial!
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You know what? Isn't the CFL, UFL, PFL, aren't they a thing still?
We can't wait to find out what The Rock has cooking as the UFL kicks off their season next week. CFL is a summer thing.
Yeah, I can't remember what FL we were, because the UFL and the USFL combined forces.
The XFL and USFL.
They become
merged.
the UFL. Okay. And
I don't know why I know that.
The Rock owns.
He's a player in that. Yes.
Oh, he plays?
Well, he
probably still could play.
He could try.
Well,
I think the steroids would keep him out.
Oh boy, how dare you?
Did I say something?
Make an accusation like that?
Oops.
Let me see here. So I told you I was going to. Let's get into the show officially here. It's G2G Bars who brings you the program. Perfect protein bar. Give it a shot. You know what? If you filled up a bowl of, if you put a bowl of just G2G bars out there, you'd your guests would thank you, because maybe they make that decision versus eating 98,000 pounds of pizza or whatever.
No, they just eat 10 G2G bars.
You could get to that 2,500 calories pretty quick.
Yes, you could.
With that.
That would actually put you at almost 4,000.
Here's the deal, though. In the refrigerated section, you can find it. And if you're doing meal replacement, or if you're trying to get your life on track with that, and you don't want to fuss with all the other protein bars that are just wafer thin and don't deliver that satisfaction, the G2G bar is awesome. All right, let's kick off the hour here with The Cut. Let's get right to it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is What Made the Cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, in this portion of the show, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, TRAJANwealth.com. For your local trusted financial needs in retirement, TrajanWealth.com. All right, so before we get to some of these Super Bowl particulars, I did want to bring up that Shedeur Sanders was asked about. I don't know if you know this, but like even before you get to the NFL, you got to be down, pubbing yourself down at the Super Bowl, man.
That's the place to be.
That's where you got to go. Everybody's got their brand they're wearing. George Kittle was wearing the Little Caesars shirt. Puka Nakua is wearing like a Pepsi jacket for 5 days straight.
A lot of money to be made.
Hey, man, go out and get your NIL deal, all right? And I will say what's interesting about all this is that, so somebody was asking Shedeur Sanders about the draft and was like, what if you don't go first overall? Which is obviously a very very possible deal because Cam Ward is the guy that I think a lot of people have pegged to go first as quarterbacks. But they were like, what about that honor of going first? Would you be mad if you weren't picked first overall? And in a moment of clarity for Shedeur Sanders, he's like, why would I be mad? I'm going to go. I want to go to a place where I fit. I don't want to go to a place just because they draft me first. And he's like, the reality is that, you're going to get paid either way, right? So I thought about it, and I was like, well, how much are you going to get paid? Here's the rookie scale for this year. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
If you are drafted this year and in the 2025 rookie scale, which, of course, is just decided by the CBA, your year one contract as a rookie is $7.7 million. Year two is $9.6. Year three is $11.5. And year four is $13.5 if you're the number one overall pick. So you get a $42.4 million deal. That's the most it's ever been. Number two gets $40.5 million. Number three gets $39.3 million. Number four gets $38 million. And it goes all the way down. If you were in the first round, of this draft, you don't get the lowest number in the first round is $13.7 million of that first round scale. So, I mean, even if you go through the whole draft and you're drafted and you start, you don't even get below $1 million a year for your very first. If you're in the first 118 picks, you're going to be above that $1 million payday as soon as you walk into the league. So, and there's a lot of guaranteed money obviously thrown into that as well. So those the rookie scale contracts are pretty interesting. But can you imagine now? The fourth year of the rookie contract deals, if you're picked number one of this year's draft, is $13.5 million.
That's a good living.
That's pretty good.
You can't get that in NIL.
Oh, my goodness. And the reality is, from a numbers standpoint, they might not work out. The reality is that in a lot of cases, they don't work out.
Daniel Jones
picks
got to a second contract and didn't work out.
I'm trying to think, too, like if you are playing for – think about the guys who've gone super high recently.
Mm-hmm.
Your Zach Wilsons who were he's a number 2 overall pick. You're talking about that scale of $7 to $9 to $10 million in your first few years. And, people look at that and they go, well, that's a bust, right? But if you're Shedeur Sanders, you're smart to go, I'm looking for fit. Because you see the guys that don't fit.
You can tell his dad's talked to him. And
they're not in the league long.
He's got the right people in his ear talking about what's actually the most important thing when he goes to the NFL. It's not being number one.
I just thought it was interesting, the money that's already being – the crazy levels that we've gotten to of the rookie scale deals of these.
It used to be bigger.
So here's the – I know they had to reel it in because it got so out of control.
Remember the Heisman Trophy winner from Oklahoma who BYU blew up his shoulder?
Bradford.
Sam Bradford.
He was the one who kicked
After
it all
that,
off.
they had to fix it because they were giving $30 million guaranteed to a guy that couldn't play.
Yeah. So the Chiefs are going for a Super Bowl three-peat. The Eagles are obviously the team that played them 2 years ago, played them very, very well. Controversy was marred in that game with the holding call. BYU and Utah fans really we were already trained in how to zoom in and slow motion on a very, very ticky-tacky kind of holding call, right? Because of that game. And everybody remembers the Patrick Mahomes point, like, hey, look, hey, he was holding him. And then the flag comes out. So I want to go back to our picks in the Super Bowl.
Uh-oh.
And I just want to make sure that we mention here that we had. All right, so you were the only one that placed a team in the Super Bowl that is actually in the Super Bowl. I'll remind you that the picks were you and I in our AFC Championship games. You had the Bills and the Chiefs when you were dead on. You had the Chiefs winning that one, dead on. I had the Chiefs and the Ravens, and I had the Ravens winning that one, so I was dead wrong. I had no representative from the AFC. But it gets worse for me for the NFC because I had the Lions beating the Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game. Now, listen, I'm not that wild because the Commanders ended up making the NFC Championship game.
They blew the whole thing up. You picked the wrong wild card team.
I picked the wrong team that was going to go and show up, but the Lions disappointed both you and I.
They disappointed everybody.
So, you had Lions Eagles in the NFC Championship game, and you had the Lions winning that one. I had the Lions going to the Super Bowl, and both of us had the Lions winning the Super Bowl. How do we feel now?
Well, obviously not very good. We blew it.
Hey, you nailed it.
I doubted the Chiefs.
You didn't doubt the Chiefs all the way getting up to the Super Bowl. Against your better, against what your gut wanted to tell. Well, your gut told you what the reality was about the Kansas City Chiefs, and trying to hold them back for another year of not getting in the Super Bowl was not going to happen. So, Chiefs going for a three-peat. The question, JJ, is does it happen?
Yes. The Chiefs are going to make history on Sunday. I hate it. I'm a Broncos fan. I have Chiefs fatigue more than anybody.
You just got...
I don't want this to happen.
As JJ put it right before he came back into the studio, he goes, I just got rusty keyed.
That's
a verb now.
Before Rusty walked out of the building, he had to come track me down.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me, how concerned he is.
Was he wearing his...
he's a little nervous going into this one.
Was he wearing
He was wearing the jacket.
He was wearing his leather jacket?
Yeah.
Oh... You and Lloyd, it's just funny to watch. It's funny to watch you and Lloyd have to pass by Rusty. You got Rusty keyed.
I got keyed.
I love it.
There's just so many reasons to point to the Chiefs in this game. Now, I think what I have to do is sit here and try to talk myself into the Eagles. So let me try that exercise live on the radio.
Let's hear it.
So I think the Chiefs are the favorite. I think the Chiefs are the smarter team, the more experienced team in the situation, even though this game was played 2 years ago in the Super Bowl. So let's say, what do the Eagles have to do to end this streak? What do the Eagles have to do to take down the Chiefs and finally win a close game against that team? Two things have to happen. Saquon Barkley has to run all over them. Saquon Barkley has to be the MVP of this game. Because if you're going to rely on Jalen Hurts beating you with your arm, I think that plays right into what the Chiefs want to do. Because that's what they did 2 years ago. I'm not saying he's not capable. That's not the advantage the Eagles have in this game. The Eagles have the best running back on the planet. They need to use him. Number two, and probably the most important thing, they've got to cause chaos. It's so hard for any team to force the Chiefs into turnovers, to force the Chiefs into mistakes, to sack Mahomes, to hurry Mahomes, to cause chaos. It's not just the turnovers. It's causing chaos and upending possessions. Because if the Chiefs just get to do whatever they want all game, they're going to play... they're not going to play up tempo. They're going to burn clock. They're going to execute the heck out of you. They're going to take advantage of every rule they can. They're going to execute better than you. That's going to be the case. The Chiefs are going to execute better than the Eagles in this game. The Eagles have got to create extra possessions in this game and take some away from the Chiefs in order to win it. I think they're capable of doing it. I just doubt that they're going to be able to execute that. So those are the two things that have to happen for the Eagles to win, in my opinion. And those seem like pretty simple things. But they're not simple because it's not easy to run against the Chiefs front. And it's not easy to cause turnovers when Patrick Mahomes is running your offense.
But everybody has had a hard time figuring out Saquon Barkley. Everybody. And so I know it's hard to run against the Chiefs front, but it's not really been hard for Saquon Barkley to run against any front so far this year. And so I think that the advantage that the Chiefs have is a legitimate running game. And I know Spagnuolo's got something dialed up, obviously to get ready for these guys. But Jalen Hurts' life gets made so much more easy by the fact that his running back is so effective and has had a historic year.
Well, it opens up the lanes for Jalen himself to carry.
Right.
And we've seen that in the playoffs.
And it makes
for
it
big
where
gains.
It makes, I mean, obviously play action is, you can say what you will about the NFL, but play action is still king. I mean, that still is the thing that sets what those secondaries and linebacker, those second and third levels of that defense. Like when you have a guy like that, you can absolutely change the game for your benefit as the Eagles. I mean, that's the part that I look at and I go, please, let's get Saquon going a little bit, not just running the ball himself, super well, but also just keeping that defense honest and then allowing Jalen Hurts to get the ball to Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, right? I mean,
and that's the wild card. Once you start running the football well with both of those guys, both your running back and your quarterback, then you force the other team to have single coverage on A.J. Brown, and he's awesome against single coverage.
Did you see also that there's like some sort of a flu bug that's floating around the team right now with the Eagles?
Yeah, that's of concern. That matters. That could impact the Eagles.
Yeah, but you know what? Flu game for everybody. Come on. Give me the flu game for everybody.
For one guy, maybe, not multiple guys.
Not all of them?
That's not
good. Oh, no. It is a little bit depressing to think that they need everything to be clicking perfectly for them to be able to have a shot. And if it's not,
the
you can't
Eagles
have
are
it go
a
that
great
way.
football team, Alex.
I know.
The Eagles are really good. It's just the Chiefs. They're just so the margin for error is so slim against them because they execute so well in all phases.
It just is.
Their kicker's automatic. I mean, what is the weakness with the Chiefs? Give me a weakness.
If there is a weakness, it's the secondary.
Okay.
Like that's been a struggle for them this year. But again, the rest of their defense is so dang good that it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to figure it out, man. So, all right, we'll be back right around the corner. More to go. Stay with us. We've got our NFL Blitz. We've got all sorts of things still to jump into as we get you ready. The non-Super Bowl stories that are also around the corner. Stay here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Let me see here. That music, of course, means it's the NFL Roundup. And there's lots of NFL stories, of course, to be had out there. The Super Bowl, of course, chief among them. So you have to have wings at your party. You have to have some version of queso. You've got to have... but see, here's that's the thing is like, who do you trust? Who do you trust to make those foods for you, though? You know what I mean? You have family members who you go, that's my queso guy. She knows what she's doing with this. This person knows what's going on over here.
It's kind of like a team, right? Everybody has their role.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has their strengths and their weaknesses. It's like, yeah, you make the queso, but there's no way you're grilling. You grilled back in 2023, and it was awful. Okay? I like you. You're patient. You're going to cook the little smokies.
Look at that. That's good. The little smokies.
I love little smokies.
So what do you have to... I mean, listen... You can't screw up little smokies very, very easily.
Get yourself your favorite barbecue sauce.
Get a crock.
Throw it a little in like one of those tiny crocks.
The small crock.
And
yes.
you throw those little things in there, your little weenies. You cover them in sauce. So good.
And then underrated, you get that roll. You get that roll out. Scoop some on that roll.
Yeah.
Bada bing.
All right, we're on the same page.
All right. And what's funny is it's
underrated Super Bowl
it's
food.
Such low class meat too. It's like
it's
literally bottom of the barrel.
You know what? But I'm eating it anyway.
Guys, Valentine's Day's here. What better way to say I love you than the original cozy and classy Minky Couture blanket? Save 50% using the promo code ZONE50 in stores and online at minkycouture.com. Minky Couture has you covered. There's always that person that shows up to the party too that goes, I thought I'd offset some of the bad foods with some of this, and they have like the veggie platter, and
they brought a quiche.
No one brings the keys to the Super Bowl party.
There's always that weirdo.
I actually used eggless eggs. What?
Oh, thanks for the impossible steaks. Let's throw those in the garbage where they belong.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't bring your fake meat to my house ever again.
So, Tyreek Hill, I don't know if you saw this. He's doing the old, he's backing up some of his,
Beep.
he wishes that he could back out of some of the things that he said.
Is that him backing up, or is that the Brinks truck?
Well, it's both for him.
Yeah.
But Tyreek Hill wants to stay in Miami, according to him, despite his frustrated comments that he made at the end of the regular season that suggested otherwise. He regrets making those decisions. I don't want to go nowhere. I love Miami. My family loves it. It's an amazing thing, man. We really love building something special here in Miami. We made it to the playoffs the first 2 years. Obviously, this year was hard, but if guys continue to buy in and what coach is building, the culture of what he's trying to build, it's going to be an amazing thing. That's the kind of place that this is the kind of, I mean, it doesn't have the same type of vibe, obviously, and it's not the same situation, but Antonio Brown comes to mind where you just kind of start doing your own thing and living in your own world, and then suddenly you're taking your pads off and flipping off the crowd in East Rutherford.
You never know what's going to happen next.
I'm not saying that's what Tyreek Hill's going to do.
I think Tyreek was frustrated because he had one of his worst years as a pro, and the Dolphins fell well below expectations. But then he woke up the day after. He's like, "Oh crap! I live in Miami, and I make millions. I think I'm all right."
No taxes, by the way. No state income tax.
That too.
Yeah.
Miami's a nice place.
Yeah.
People work all their lives to retire in Miami.
Well,
the dude's living there in his 20s.
That's pretty dang cool. I was going to say, though, Russell Wilson, by the way, the Steelers seem like that they are unlikely to re-sign the veteran quarterback. Is that a good move? You want to, if you're a, listen, I'm going to ask you to speak for Sly before you guys end up doing it on Sunday, maybe. What is the best situation for the Steelers? Is it to just move on from Russ?
The Broncos just moved on. It was the best decision they've made. They had to eat that contract, and they're in cap hell forever because of it. But what happened? They moved off of him. They draft Bo Nix. They make the playoffs. I think the Steelers need to go in a different direction. Do I think that the heir apparent is the right guy? I don't know.
That's the thing is that.
But it's better than Russell Wilson.
So you heard we were watching videos earlier of Jameis Winston, who's going around these different
Yes.
Super Bowl pressers, asking the questions to the players. Hey, man, what free agency team should I sign? What team should I sign with in free agency? You know, you had all the mixes, right? You had people saying, "Oh, the you should go play for the Giants, too. They need a quarterback." That was what Saquon said to him. This feels like a place where Jameis ends up
as a backup,
but ends up starting by the end of the year. Like, nothing is going to change in that sense. So if you're the Steelers, you might need to move off of both of those guys and start something off, man. Start something fresh here.
Look, the Steelers, maybe they need to do something outside the box and go do something crazy at the quarterback position, because it feels like that's all that's missing. Like, that offense was stale last year. Not good. And then when your defense got a little banged up, your season was over. So maybe they need to do something outside the box at the quarterback position and go away from both of those guys. Go make a trade for somebody under the radar. Who's next year's Sam Darnold? Go find him.
Go ahead and find next year's Sam Darnold. Just go do it.
Go give Zach Wilson a shot.
Ooh, speaking of Sam Darnold, have we figured out where he's going to go yet? No, right?
No.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's go.
Maybe next year's Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold. I don't know.
I do think I do think that the Steelers are in a weird place here, because if they start to struggle a little bit, then Mike Tomlin won't be there very long, and that it won't be there as long as he probably should be, and that's unfortunate because
right. And I think Tomlin has to feel some urgency. I got to get my offense right. Hasn't been the same since Big Ben got old.
I'm telling you, it's crazy. All right. Jerry Jones says Brian Schottenheimer is a hit the ground running kind of guy.
Oh my gosh.
I think the emphasis here is he hit the ground.
Jerry.
You know what's great for Jerry? You know what the best thing that's happened?
He's still talking himself into
You know
this.
what the best thing that's happened to Jerry Jones in the past month? In the past 5 years, maybe? Nico Harrison. Suddenly he is by far the best GM.
I mean, that's pretty tough to out Jones Jerry Jones, but Nico Harrison did it.
I'm telling
Jerry's
you.
delusional at this point. And you know what? If you don't like the Cowboys, you love it because he just keeps making a mess of this franchise that should just absolutely be killing it.
Did you see Deion Sanders hired Marshall Faulk as the running back? That's pretty darn cool. By the way, when you can call Warren Sapp and you can call Marshall Faulk.
You have Hall of Famers out there recruiting for you.
And on top of it, that's exactly right, JJ. That's the thing is that I wonder when these guys get in if it's just as a big of a deal to sit down across from Marshall Faulk in your kitchen with your mom and dad as it is.
How are you saying no to Marshall Faulk
or Warren
on a
Sapp?
visit?
Right.
Like, of course you're going to invite them in your home. I can say no to that. It's brilliant.
All right, let's take another break here. We'll come back, and when we do return, we've got some things to chop up here still. We've got a best and worst here for you. And, I got a story for you, JJ, that's not any sort of football related, but it has to do with my hero for the day, a young kid in Los Angeles. I'll tell you about that next. So stay here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
Best and worst brought to you by an incredible selection of Kia, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, and now Mitsubishi. It's the Doug Smith family of dealerships. Nobody knows cars like Doug. I'm still catching heat, by the way, from when we were at the Doug Smith Subaru the other day, and we didn't. The problem was the kids heard me say, they heard us talking on the radio about the adoption of the pets and stuff, and it was like, even if you didn't adopt it, you can foster.
Yes.
And that spoke to my kids that I basically was disrespecting them. Like, you didn't even have to commit full time to have this. We could have just fostered that chubby bulldog, Stella. Which, by the way, the kids, when they heard it was Stella, because I forgot that's the name of the French bulldog in Modern Family, which my kids love that show. They're like, her name's Stella, and you rejected her? And they saw the pictures of you and me petting the dog and you picking her up and kissing her, and they were like, what is your problem, Dad? You have no heart? I guess I don't. And again, like I said, then I point at my son. I go, it's his fault. He's allergic. Go get on him. Deflect. That's a good dad move right there.
They're still not happy.
I'm not able to live it down yet. And it's been a couple days, so
she's a cutie. Hopefully, somebody gave her a home. She was awesome.
Best and worst. Let's start with the worst. Hubie Brown. By the way, I didn't know he had gotten into his 90s doing these games. I knew he was in my head.
Dare do it.
No, I'm not saying he's passed. His NBA broadcast career is over, though.
Well, not yet.
Well, he's gonna do his final NBA game. When's that actual date going to be? By the way, 91 years old, and he's a TV analyst on ESPN. That's how awesome. I mean, look, Hubie Brown was a good coach. I mean, he was a really good coach.
Yeah, he was very successful, especially with the Grizzlies.
With the Grizzlies that. that run that he made at the end there.
I run in New York with the Knicks.
I will say that when he talks on the broadcast, you just can't help but go, "Oh, this is a master," telling you about all this stuff. And sometimes the analysts are, they can get a little bit caught up. And Hubie Brown's awesome, but 91 years old.
He won an ABA championship, by the way, with the Kentucky Colonels back in 1975.
Gosh, the Kentucky Colonels.
That's how long he's been coaching.
That's awesome. That's the worst story that is. Hubie Brown. The good news is not that Hubie Brown passed. That's good.
He's still with us at 91. That game, by the way, is on Sunday. The Sixers and Bucks will be Brown's final game.
Now, I hope he got that retirement stuff figured out. Maybe he had to work all the way to 91 because he just didn't have the NBA pension's not great. I don't know. Maybe
dude just loves hoop.
Maybe Disney's pension's not great. I don't know. The best story of the day: Paul Skeens, rookie of the year pitcher for Major League Baseball. Of course, pitches for the Pirates. His girlfriend, very famous,
more famous than him, actually.
Livy Dunn, yes.
Yes.
So the jersey patch card from his rookie season. So a boy in Los Angeles, I think he's 11. He pulled the 1-of-1 card out of a pack, which of course has the jersey patch and it has the 1-of-1, and it's also autographed by Paul Skeens. He made that pull, and what was crazy is this kid got it, and everybody is saying that this card, the experts are saying that this card is already worth $1 million. They think. Rookie Paul Skeens. I'm not saying rookie Paul Skeens and it was 30 years ago.
Right?
It's 1-of-1.
Oof.
It's the debut jersey. It's the debut game jersey that he wore.
That's crazy.
And it was issued by Topps, and this kid pulled it. How big of a deal is this card? Well, the Pirates are offering this young man 2 Pirates season tickets behind home plate for the next 30 years. A softball game for 30 at the park with the coaching from the Pirates alumni. A spring training experience that gives you a private tour of Pirate City, meet and greet with Paul Skeens himself, 2 Paul Skeens autographed jerseys, taking batting practice with warm-up from the team, and a unique experience at the Pirate City in Lakon Park. They're offering season tickets for 30 years, 2 of them behind home plate. And then 2 signed Paul Skeens jerseys. And so far, the kid has said no.
Well, wait till they find out that the kid bent the corners.
Oh! Don't say
like
that.
Most kids do with their baseball cards.
So, but then the other thing
I'm kidding.
Livy Dunn also offered up $1 million.
Oh, my gosh. What does it say that a college gymnast has $1 million?
I know.
That's
I love
crazy.
It.
Good for her.
So far, he hasn't.
He's not giving it up.
He's not doing it. I told Alex, our producer, before I go, look, the $1 million by itself, as an 11-year-old, you could change your entire life just getting that $1 million then.
Right.
Take the $1 million and let's get going.
The Pirates offer. Look, I know the kid. I mean, basically, the kid has won the lottery.
He's from LA though, and you can't go to Pittsburgh all the time. When are you going to do that?
When are you actually going to sell it, and who are you going to sell it to? Yeah. And like to have it a personal experience. That's how I remember the Shohei Ohtani thing. They were trying to get his balls and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like the personal experience you might have by getting to meet the player and getting jerseys from them and be able to share that life experience. 2 signed jerseys and get to hang out with the guy and be able to talk to him. And then you get the season tickets for 30 years. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, stop acting like you really won the lottery, and I would take the deal.
Yeah, you think
because that's a real story to be able to.
His parents are like,
you already have the story of getting the card. Why don't you expand that by actually getting to spend time with the player?
Hey, Billy, you know who Livy Dunn is? Let's go check out Instagram real quick. She's offering you $1 million, buddy. Yeah.
Jeez.
I hope the parents aren't telling him to sit on that thing. You got to do it. All right. One final time here that we get to chat with Clayton Curl. The Warehouse, of course, is found at 1825 South 300 West. Clayton, let's wrap these deals up today with an awesome one. What do you have here as we get people into their weekends, get them thinking about coming out and buying some furniture at the Warehouse?
Well, listen, I don't have a 1-of-1 rookie card, but I do have $1 million deals for everybody.
Hey now.
Ooh. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I've talked all afternoon about the twin and full size mattress. It's an 8-inch memory foam, great little mattress. Regularly $400 in the twin size, $600 in the full. I've said all afternoon, $175 in the twin, $199 in the full. I'm going to do $179 for both, either twin or full. That's more than half. That's 75% off on that full mattress size. If you need a full mattress, you've got kids, you've got that extra guest bedroom, no better place to come in than the Warehouse to get that deal. $175 on either twin and full. And again, I got to close with our Serta Arctic mattress deal. I'm giving away queen or king size Serta Arctic mattresses with that patented cooling tech. You come in and you buy an adjustable base, and the king size, you get the base, $14.99. Boom, I give you the mattress for free. Queen size, $10.99. Boom, you get that mattress for free. And at last but not least, I got the 6-piece sectional and the sofa and love. These are great for Super Bowl Sunday. We have all your needs. I can get it delivered before the big game. 50% off our competitors. It's normally a $3,600 and $3,800 deal. I'm $1,699 in the 6-piece sectional, and I'm $1,499 in the sofa and love. Boom, baby.
Boom. Clayton, say hi to your folks for us, man. Thanks for hanging out with us today, and we love having you on the program, man.
Enjoy the big game.
Thanks for having us, boys.
There you go. The warehouse, easy to find. 1825 South, 300 West. 3rd West there, right by the Costco. East of the Costco, you know where it is. Go find some deals for yourself. Go check it out. Put them to the test. All right, more to go right around the corner. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.